news tonight. Admission into tertiary institutions. JAMB places benchmark. And Remi Tinubu in New York charts a new path for Africa to address gender issues. Glad to have you join us at 7 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. I'm Hakimat Aliu Ibrahim with the news. Don't forget you can watch on our YouTube channel at NTA Abuja Channel 5. Spouses of heads of state and government from the world under the auspices of Global First Ladies Alliance are again converging on New York for the 2025 Global First Partners Academy. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, joins her counterparts at the Academy, an executive leadership program designed for First Ladies, First Gentlemen, and First Partners, launched 2023 by the Global First Ladies Alliance and Columbia University, Mailman, School of Public Health, Mailman. The third annual academy will offer tailored programming that will equip participants with knowledge and strategies to drive transformative change nationally and globally. Apart from joining other participants to discuss their top priorities, trends, critical research, and opportunities for collective action around key issues, including mental health, gender-based violence, and intersection of maternal health, food security, and climate change. The Nigeria's First Lady will also address the Academy with her presentation to highlight her complementary role in charting a path for the future of Nigeria and youth in Nigeria. The Global First Partners Academy builds on the GFLA's 16 years of experience, supporting over 80 first partners across Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, South America, and North America. Moving on, Nigeria and Brazil have formalized a new partnership aimed at strengthening healthcare collaboration with a long-term focus on local manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, vaccines, and other essential medical commodities. The Nigerian Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohamed Ali Pate, and his Brazilian counterpart, Alexandra Padilla, signed a memorandum of understanding on the structured mechanism for the partnership on the sidelines of the 2025 BRICS Summit of Heads of State and Government in Rio de Janeiro.
And that MOU commits us to work together along those dimensions, including exploring government-to-government arrangements to secure commodities like vaccines, which Brazil is able to produce and has been producing for decades, that are safe, that are efficacious, that are well regulated, with a view to transferring those technologies over time for the manufacturing to take place in Nigeria. Certain pharmaceuticals for HIV, TB, and other drugs that we use, there is a private company in Brazil that is already in discussions through its partner to establish a manufacturing plant in Nigeria. Now, the relationship between the two governments would enable those trade relations to accelerate.
Professor Ali Pate explained that the partnership, which has been in process between private partners from the two countries for some time, got new momentum, with Brazil now showing more seriousness to Nigeria as a result of the respect President Tinubu's administration has been able to earn from the Brazilian government.
And the fact that we're willing to consider buying before they come to manufacture, in fact, gives them an incentive, because over time we want to exit from having to depend on bringing all that we need. We want to domesticate our manufacturing capacity, to create economic value, to produce the drugs that we need and commodities that we need, at the same time to create jobs for our youth and to have transfer of technology so that our country will also be in the path to developing its own technologies, which will serve our population in Nigeria, our neighbors in West Africa, potentially in Africa. And who knows, there may be things that we can produce which Nigeria may buy from us as well. That is the idea of trading between countries. But we also have to learn from each other because Brazil and us have shared heritage, shared size, structure, and there are many areas where we can learn from Brazil and Brazil can also learn from us.
To other matters, the federal government has set 60 years as the minimum age requirement for admission into tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa made this known at the opening session of 2025 policy meeting on admissions organized by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, in Abuja. Olanka Ojo reports.
The policy meeting is coming after a successful conduct of the 2025 UTME examination across the country. The policy meeting is aimed at ensuring compliance with academic standards and enhancing the quality of education in Nigeria.
It is therefore imperative that this meeting not only set cut-off marks, but also revisit institutional practices and policies that impede fair access, student success, and systematic efficiencies.
And the decision to be taken is one anxious candidates cannot wait to hear. And after many deliberations, the meeting agreed that the national minimum cutoff marks for the 2025 admission exercise is 150 for universities, colleges of nursing 140, while for polytechnics, colleges of agriculture and colleges of education is put at 100.
No institution will be allowed to recommend or admit any candidate who is below the minimum admissible year.
On the part of government, it will continue to uphold integrity and standards in the education system, but emphasize that age limit is mandatory and non-negotiable.
Any institution, along with its head, that admits a candidate below the approved minimum age of 16 without meeting the stipulated nationwide conditions and criteria shall face appropriate sanctions.
The event also featured the presentation of awards to encourage tertiary institutions that have performed creditably in admission exercise. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And to improve the quality of news reporting and enhance digital media competence, the management of NTA Channel 5 Abuja has commenced a 2-day capacity building workshop for its news department staff. The training, which focuses on core news values and emerging digital trends, is being facilitated by the seasoned broadcaster, Malam Danjuma Abdullahi. Sandra Akeme has the report.
Continuous training for journalists is essential in today's fast-paced media landscape, as such trainings help journalists stay updated on core news values. The 2-day training on news reporting aims at enhancing the newsroom's capabilities, covered key areas such as the definition of news, types of news, planning for coverage, investigative reporting, news writing to pictures, live reporting, and presentation, among others. Reporters say the refresher session is timely.
I've been on the political desk for more than 10 years, and telling me things that I seem to have forgotten. And of course it's even the political period now in the FCT, so it's going to go a long way in helping me in reporting and reporting the political desk.
What NTA is known for is balanced reporting. Looking at the common man, interest, impact, what human angle interest stories, then impact, what impact would your report bring on board, bring to the society. So I think This is also to remind us our responsibilities as journalists.
So I think capacity building is very important in the life of anyone who wants to progress, anyone who wants to develop professionally. So I think it's been a moment of shared knowledge, shared experiences, which I think the participants would be better for it moving forward as professionals.
The training aligns with NTA's commitment to quality journalism and efforts to stay at the forefront of media innovation.
If you have not gone through Malam Danjuma Abdullahi, you really need to step back and go back for more training. As reporters, we're supposed to continuously refresh our minds on the skills of reporting. It's an ongoing thing. Even if you know these things, it's important that from time to time you're trained and retrained.
Whenever you have staff, it is good to train them and retrain them, because knowledge is never exhaustive. You can't say, I've had it all, so I'm going to relax. So in the effort to build capacity, the general manager has decided that even though you've been exposed to various trainings on news reporting, he has decided in his own wisdom that old veterans from the NTA should come and interact and share experience in order to build capacity.
As television broadcasting continues to evolve, the NTA management is deliberate in its efforts to achieve its vision and mandate. In Abuja, Sandra Akemi, NTA News.
Stakeholders converge on Abuja for the Drug Law and Policy Reform Summit. Organized by AfriLaw, the summit, which is expected to review regulations of drug laws, comes after the launch of the campaign against the death penalty for drug-related offenses in Nigeria last year. Moses Kuye brings us more on the story.
The Drug Law Summit, which aims to engage and dialogue with national institutions related to drug security, human rights justice, and health issues, left no stone unturned in addressing this matter of national importance.
For too long, enforcement approaches have driven drug policy in Nigeria, fueling stigma, human rights violations, overcrowding our correctional facilities, which has been initially mentioned by the speaker before me, and leaving those who need public health interventions.
A critical stakeholder in global efforts to reduce drug-related challenges has been described as Africa's narcotic hub and a major transshipment point between the Eastern and the Western Hemisphere. This, they say, contributes to the often resulting in death penalties.
We have seen a lot of people who, while in detention, have done PhD, have acquired additional degrees, are even helping in training other people in the correctional services. And such are things that are enhancing national development, that are contributing to literacy in the country.
In a goodwill message, the NDLEA highlighted its supply and demand reduction programs, including education and sensitization initiatives, as well as rehabilitation campaigns aimed at repositioning Nigeria and its laws.
Against Drug Abusers WADA is an initiative like a sensitization program that takes the message to the grassroots, to the communities where this information can be used.
The Reform Summit concluded with a plenary session focused on drawing conclusions on drug laws, the effect of drug policies, weak implementation, and reviewing outdated laws.
We are not relaxed because we know that the reform, drug policy and drug law reform is a continuous effort.
The summit was organized to commemorate the 2025 World Drug Day in Abuja. Moses Kuye, NTA News.
In Nigeria, where childbearing is deeply cherished, surrogacy has emerged as a beacon of hope for many couples grappling with infertility. But what does the journey of surrogacy entail? Yours truly in this report takes a closer look at the process, legal provision, and societal challenges surrounding surrogacy in Nigeria.
In 2021, a popular movie celebrity in Nigeria publicly revealed how she became a mother through surrogacy. She shared that after several years of battling infertility via multiple miscarriages and failed IVF attempts, she chose surrogacy to fulfill her dream of motherhood. Her story gave a face to what many Nigerians, both openly and privately, experience. Fertility expert Dr. Philip Ekwe describes surrogacy as a form of assisted reproduction in which a woman agrees to carry and give birth to a child for another individual or couple. Dr. Ekwe explains some of the medical and personal reasons couples may opt for surrogacy, ranging from repeated IVF failures to medical conditions that make pregnancy unsafe.
It's supposed to be a family affair, husband and wife having their kid. We're now bringing a third person to get involved. Third party reproductive health involves sperm donation, egg donation, embryo donation, and surrogacy. It shouldn't be done socially, but it should be done for particular reasons. I will give an example. A woman that have a hole in the heart, who probably, if she carries pregnancy, that pregnancy, the stress of the pregnancy will prevent her from carrying that pregnancy to 9 months. Such a woman deserves to have a surrogate to carry the baby.
He outlines the standard procedure commonly followed in Nigeria, beginning with identifying a surrogate, either a volunteer or compensated participant. However, the legal landscape of surrogacy in Nigeria remains complex, with no comprehensive national legislation regulating the practice.
Due to its dicey nature, parties are advised to resort to the general laws of contracts that guide the parties in the cases of conflicts, which there has to be offer, acceptance, and consideration.
Societal attitudes are also evolving, with some viewing surrogacy as a medical miracle and a gift of love, while others see it as unconventional or even a taboo due to cultural or religious beliefs.
For me, I feel it's okay as long as it's done the legal way.
Findings show a rise in fertility clinics and online platforms offering surrogacy services in Nigeria, connecting intended parents with potential surrogates.
It's time now to join our sports desk for more sports news.
The Super Eagles Second Division, Nigeria's home-based national squad, has commenced preparations for the 2025 African Nations Championship (CHAN) with an initial training session held on Monday night at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikenne. A total of 21 players were in attendance for the first session, which began at 7 p.m. under floodlights. An additional 24 players are expected to join the camp on Tuesday, bringing the squad closer to full strength ahead of the continental tournament. The training marks the beginning of a critical phase as the Eagles prepare to represent Nigeria in Group D of the CHAN competition, where they will face Senegal, Sudan, and Congo. And moving on to shot put, Nigeria's Chukwuebuka Enewechi made history by becoming the first African to throw over 22 meters in the men's shot put. This achievement marked his first time exceeding 22 meters, surpassing his previous personal best of 21.91 meters, which is set at the same event last year. In another development, countdown is officially on, just 16 days until the biggest display of strength Africa has ever witnessed. From July 23rd to 27th, 2025, Abuja will become the battleground for elite competitors during the 14th African Arm Wrestling Championship and the 7th Para Arm Wrestling Championship, as over 400 athletes and officials from across the continent converge in the city. Excitement is building up, with 20 African countries confirming their participation as they finalize travel documents, medical clearances, and logistics to arrive in Abuja. With Sports Brief, Moses Kuye. NTA News.
That concludes the English version. Up next is the news translations.
ma agbajaje reshaje wona ya bi bada ya zakoi ba ku shak badai iwo ana bagi shi ba bada wo mo president fa yuba woni wace ana bagi go gai ki tukoda anyi ko nge luru me tunubu wala lo ki tukoda anyi ko gbada kun yashi ina anasara ki wa sudo Colombia ki anya baba na gwan bai babwa alyoka ya lo anai nyasa lafiya bwa zoko na bo a jeyishe ki babwa do sha ina gbada kun bagodo nge ka azokwe she aba ma aza ashi nyache nyasa yi bodo she ki babwa nge nyagigigi she ko kuche bodo she abashi abo anukwai shigbe bodo shebmana nyasa do shayi yiki tukoda nyiko ba daba dada na a tukoda jeshe aba gwamnati ba shi amana ko zaba da na biya kasai a ye nge babwa biyi ina zo ko shako kuce za a dagmai a za dagmai badina ba pe yeshi ba ku be yeshi ikizi da ba ibwa nge ayoka ya ba bwa be ntu na anya susu bada na anya mimi zokwe she abashi ba shigba owu nge Moses kuye wa dai nge badagun afrilo tuge gwamnati nyau ko no be shi yeshi ye na ayoti ge gwamnati ba shan ege agbagbatu adohodo nge she àwọn zatu una anyasusin zoko badana anya mimi zoko atogola agna ege owa ko lazia nge alaza ipiawu aka azoko wie na bazaza busi toge agna nge owa kula azawu ntige gwamnati anabagi goga atataji yami ya godu ntatiji she ko kuce na tataji ba igolo aji awu ayiba anabagi goga nya she ko kuce na sana sai ya Sandra Keme wada nge abonu ayi anti da sapa gwatnu bai shi ba shi na na anpe gwamba bakpaye ana yokaya ana baki gwagna anyai zana gmanje malam dan Juma Abdullahi wani bai wu yi ogba ana baki gwagna titinya ayi zana gmai badana zaje baku abwala wuwo ishe bada ci san barka tiga ko imaje wa ga yokaya she ba shi na nasara ba shi ibeja da wasu shi kwasi wa shi na gbada sai su
ẹ káalẹ́ ẹ káàtòwúrọ̀ ìròyìn aago méje ti èdè yorùbá ló dé sétí gbọ̀nyìn láti olú iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán NTA ìkànnì karùn-ún ti ìlú àbújá títílayọ̀kẹ́ òun lorúkọ tèmi. àwọn aya olùdarí ìpínlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ti ìjọba káàkiri àgbáyé lábẹ́ àǹfààní GFLA ìyẹn First Ladies Alliance ni wọ́n ṣàkójọ lórí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ti ọdún 2025 fún wọn ní ìlú òkè ìyẹn New York. aya ààrẹ olú ìlú wa Olúrẹ̀mí Tinubu ló sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ níbi ilé ẹ̀kọ́ náà tí a gbé kalẹ̀ fún àwọn aya ààrẹ lọ́lọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan tí a fi lọ́lẹ̀ ní ọdún 2023 látọwọ́ GFLA àti ilé ẹ̀kọ́ àgbà Columbia ti ètò ìlera. Lẹ́yìn pé àjọ náà sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ mìíràn láti jíròrò lórí àwọn ohun tó ṣe pàtàkì pẹ̀lú ìwádìí wọn lórí àwọn àǹfààní tó wà nínú ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀, ààrẹ olú ìlú wa yóò sì tún sọ nípa àwọn iṣẹ́ wọn lórí ìdàgbàsókè àwọn obìnrin pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀dọ́ nílùú Nàìjíríà. Lórí ètò òògùn, àwọn aṣojú ètò òògùn ti ṣàkójọpọ̀ lórí òfin òògùn pẹ̀lú ètò rẹ̀ tí a ṣàgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ látọwọ́ ilé-iṣẹ́ AfriLaw. Moses Kuye ló jábọ̀ pé ìpàdé náà tó yẹ kó ṣe àtúnyẹ̀wò lórí òfin òògùn náà wáyé lẹ́yìn ìfilọ́lẹ̀ ìpolongo ìjìyà ikú tó tẹ̀lé ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ òfin òògùn lọ́dún tó kọjá nílùú Abuja ní ìlú Nàìjíríà. Láti rí i dájú pé ètò ọ̀rọ̀ ìròyìn jáde pẹ̀lú ipa fún àwọn ará ìlú, àwọn olùṣàkóso NTA ìkànnì 5 ti olú ìlú wa ti ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọlọ́jọ́ méjì fún àwọn ẹ̀ka oníròyìn wọn láti lè ní ìmọ̀ tuntun sí i lórí ìròyìn. Sandra Akeme wà níbẹ̀, ó sì jábọ̀ pé ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà dá lórí mímọ̀ kókó inú ìròyìn àti bí a ó ṣe lè mú ìròyìn jáde lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Èyí ni àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ náà tí Málámù Danjuma Abdullahi ṣe níbi ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà. Títílayọ̀ Ọ̀kẹ́ lórúkọ tèmi, lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí láyọ̀ la sì máa pàdé. Ká sùn láyọ̀, ká jí láyọ̀.